welcome to everyone, and welcome to ABI Tongue from the Foundry in Leeds.
Well,
in York.
So, first question, it's from where are you from and where you work?
and who you are.
I'm Abby Tong. I'm from, I'm currently in Leeds, based at the Foundry. I'm an ornamental tattooer. I've been tattooing for 8 years this year. And yeah, I absolutely love it. Leeds is great for tattooing as well. There's a lot of good people here, so keeps you inspired.
Yes. So you have a very nice style, and we would like to ask you if you could talk a little bit about your style, and I mean, how did you discovered it, how you developed it, and what is your, you know, love about the history of this kind of tattoo?
I think, well, from a really young age, I've always been really obsessed actually with repetitive patterns of all kinds of, from all cultures. And I think this stemmed, like, even when I was in school, it was something that I used to get in trouble for, was like drawing patterns on my books. I would get in so much trouble because I'd be drawing on tables, and I've just always been really drawn to anything that's decorative and sort of repetitive, bold, yeah, from a really young age. So I think I always knew that no matter what I was going to do, because I was always creative in one way or another, it was going to involve something that was along those lines. Like I went into fashion before I started tattooing. At university, it was to do with design rather than like fashion as we know it. Yeah, so that's obviously, you know, I did finish my degree, but I very quickly knew that once I started spending time in tattoo shops getting tattooed, I was like, oh, this is amazing, and like seeing all like the tribal work and everything, and just like became very, very quickly, it made sense in my head that this could be something that I could perhaps decorate bodies with. And then I just fell in love with like the history of it. I ended up doing my dissertation on like the history of tattoos and how they were worn and why, and the history of ancient tattooing, which is completely different to fashion, but it was still something that people wore, you know, and it was as of a status, and, you know, for nobility and like success, wisdom, power, all those things within tribes of all cultures from around the world, dating back thousands of years. And that just blew my mind. I was just like, whoa, this is insane. So I think that was like the start of like, wow, I'm now getting tattooed. I've done a 10,000 word essay on this thing that's like, just, you know, in my head, it's just got me really excited. And so I just fell in love with tattooing from there. And then my obsession with pattern work and ornate, whether it be Baroque, Art Nouveau, Mendy inspired designs, tribal from, you know, Polynesian, anything, I was just really drawn to that. And I think I always knew from day one that even though I kind of at the time was an apprentice, I knew I needed to do, you know, everything in tattooing. I needed to learn all styles, and I wanted to, and I loved the research that I'd done into tattooing at the time. So whether it be traditional tattooing or whatever, but I think I always knew in my gut that I wanted to do something that was decorative for the body and bold and simple.
Yeah.
Some would, I mean, my work definitely differs from being really simple, small ornaments. Sorry, my animals are right here with me, so
It's okay.
Lovely.
And then obviously big, complex back pieces that are sort of, you know, a lot more involved. But I do like the bold simplicity of pattern work and ornaments and working with the shape of the body and things. But I always knew that I wanted to do something to do with patterns with the body. But when I obviously when I started tattooing, it was about everything, which is super important, which I think a lot of people have forgotten about. So, yeah.
Actually, we love as well all the history behind the tattoo world, and we will also have a podcast in a little while. I mean, in a few weeks, about the Mesoamerican art and all these things behind the tattoo world. So if you like it, maybe you can see that. But yeah, we love it as well. So it's thanks a lot for sharing this.
Of course, I think it's like, for me, obviously Westernized tattooing is glorious, like we know this, but for me it sits more in like my passion is like the ancient traditions of tattooing, you know, like that's what I feel. Even though I'm British, Italian, like I don't have any kind of connection to anything, maybe, you know, in regards to like that kind of culture. But I love the history, the ancient traditions of practicing and tattooing. We are
so that. Like to say hi to Anna. and we are really happy to see some action from your cat. It was amazing. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, and we would like also to ask, so, and your style, the ornamental style, is the only that you used to do, or you like also to do few, so other kind of styles,
in
this moment, or you are focused on just on the ornamental style?
For me, I would definitely say the ornamental style. I mean, I still do now and again, like I used to do a lot of floral work, like large scale things, but I like to predominantly prioritize ornamental for sure. But in the past, in my 8 years, obviously I've sort of worked up to this point delving in other things, but for me it makes me happy to stick with ornamental for sure.
Wow.
And I forgot to ask, so you started in Leeds tattooing, or in some other place?
No, so I started tattooing in a small city called Lincoln, which is sort of centre of the UK, I think it is. But yeah, I started tattooing there in a street shop, a really small street shop. And yeah, got my foot in the door there, cleaning, doing all the basics. There wasn't room for me to grow in that shop, so with their blessing I did move on about 10 months a year into that apprenticeship, if you can call it, but stayed there just sort of happy and willing to just clean and see how the shop works and do hand stencils for them and learn about the cross-contamination, like all the basics that you sort of need. And then I moved over to one of my best friend's shops, the Gilded Quill in Lincoln. It's not open anymore, but they've moved on. But yeah, some of my best friends to this day, we support each other and do together and stuff, which is really cool. Kind of going through this journey with them. So yeah.
And you travel a lot, right?
I like
also to over.
Yeah. For me, one, because it keeps me sane. I feel like if I stay in one place for too long, I like to have a base, but if I stay in one place for too long, I can feel myself getting a bit stagnant and a bit like uninspired and everything. So to travel is super important to me.
So it's kind of your inspiration to your development and evolution.
Yeah, personally and as an artist and a tattooer, I think that I have a responsibility to do that. And the places that I go to, like last year we went to Sri Lanka, me and my wife. We went to Sri Lanka, and then we went to South Africa. This year me and Anna are going to Nepal and India and Thailand, which is going to be like a reset. It's going to be really nice to kind of get a lot of new inspirations and stuff.
It's amazing.
Very lucky.
How I would like to ask you, how do you relate with the drawing and paintings? Is something that I don't know, it's very important to you, or is something that I don't know?
Yeah, you do just when you have time, so in the spare time.
It's very important for sure. I think to say any different would be crazy. Like I think you need to be able to develop, and even if you sit down for 2 hours and whatever you do doesn't get used or anything like that, like it's still part of like keeping that kind of, you know, that the cogs turning, you know. It's one of them. I do a lot of big projects, so it is hard to prioritize time to like sit down and paint or draw up new flash and things like that, because I wouldn't say I'm the fastest drawer. I tend to go back and forth constantly, especially because a lot of the stuff that I do, you kind of do need to work with the body. I do a lot of freehand, but at the same time I do like to plan as much as possible and prep as much as I can, you know. I'm just, a bit of a nerd like that. Like, even if I don't end up using what I've prepared for, you know, the night before, then I'm happy just knowing that I've got something to kind of present to the customer, and they can see what my vision is, you know. But yeah, definitely like to be able to find more time to paint, for sure. But I think we all feel like that, you know. It's there's a lot to do, so.
Oh yeah, definitely. And is there anything that you maybe I don't know, prefer or you like most doing? I mean, tattooing. What kind of I don't know, is there any particular, I don't know, area of the body or a subject, whatever, that you like mostly to do? Just something that you really...
Yes, my juice is going. This sounds really a bit sexist, but I love working with the woman's body. I love being able to enhance the shape of everyone's individual, you know, body type and everything, and just seeing how it makes them, you can see how it makes them feel, like, especially when it's done, you know, and everything. But just working with the body in general, big projects are always super welcome.
Yeah.
I just think for ornamental tattooing, it just works when it's big, you know. I mean, small ornaments, you can build on them, they look great alone. If they're simple and bold, they hopefully age good and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. But yeah, the bigger the better. And I love backs, bums, torsos, legs, you know, like matching leg sleeves are really, really fun. But yeah, I'm happy to work with like any body part, and but for me, big is good. When people approach me with like ideas for like bodysuits, like to start, or like leg sleeves and things like that, I'm just like, yeah, cool, let's go.
And can I ask you something about the scene that you have in your city? So the tattoo scene in your city.
For sure, Leeds has always been amazing for tattoos. Like even way before I started tattooing, it's always been quite popular for traditional tattooing. There's a lot of really amazing tattooers up here. There's a lot now though. Well, there is everywhere, you know. But sure. But we're very lucky to have as much enthusiasm for tattooing that we have up in Leeds. A lot of well-respected people that have been tattooing for years, that I'm lucky to now work alongside. Tom Flanagan. I've got friends here like Sam Rivers. He's always been a big inspiration for me. So to call him my friend now and get tattooed by him as well is really cool.
Yeah,
very popular. It's a popular city to come and get tattooed in, for sure.
I'm also asking because honestly, I've never been in Leeds, but
no.
You used to live in UK for like 2 years, in Ipswich and in Southampton, and so usually we really loved UK. So we usually come like once or twice a year. Yeah. Every time that we can, we come back in UK because we really love also the tattoo scene, and people really love tattoos in It's something amazing. Yeah. And so regarding the tattoo machines, the relation that you so if you can talk what you prefer to use, or if you change, it depends for which kind of tattoo you have to do, or if you just have one tool for everything.
If there's I don't know, also experimentation that you didn't like at all, or if there's something that you like most.
It took me a long time to figure out what works for my style of tattooing, for sure. In regards to, I started out on coils, basically. I've never really been a rotary person, unless like in the past I was doing, maybe like when I was doing more dark florally type work, I'd use it for shading and stippling and things like that. But now my setup is straight up, I just use Dan Cubans, and I have a Lithuanian Irons Moonlight liner that I use. And that's all I stick to be honest. But it took me a long time. I was using coils constantly, but then I just found that things didn't heal the way that I wanted to, or I just wasn't able to. I don't know. It just it didn't really hit the spot. And then I did Cuban, and for me, the weight's perfect, the power's great. I understand my machine to the point where I can like tune it how I need it to be, depending on the body part, so that it doesn't affect the skin badly, blah blah blah. It's for me, I use Cubans now for sure. But there's a lot of machines out there that I want to try. But I don't think I'll ever stop using coils though. For me, I like the way it makes me feel like I'm tattooing, like that hit every time when you pull that line. It's just, I don't think I'll ever stop, to be honest. But and it's sad because I get the evolution of tattooing and the pens and all that kind of stuff, but it makes me sad that some people have never experienced it and they never will, but it moves,
it's in constant, everything is in constant evolution, so it's can be good, can be bad, can be good for some, can be bad for some, so it's also talking about this, maybe we can introduce another topic that it's the reason why we are talking now, in this way, in this social media. So it's what is your relationship with social media? What is your, what are your thoughts about it? And how do you feel?
God, there's a lot to say, because I know how good it is. Sorry, my cat's just attacking me. Great, and we need it, and for lots of reasons. But I think for me, I have to have a balance. I don't have the want or the mental capacity to be one of these people that's like utilize programs, features to its highest potential, like every day, and going home and spending hours making reels and all that kind of stuff. Like I didn't start tattooing for that, I want to put my energy and my focus onto designs and developing my style, my technical ability of tattooing. All of those things matter to me more than social media. But then on the other hand, I know you've got to play the game. Like I know you've got to it's just about balance. It's like everything in life. You've got to strike that balance.
I can tell about something that happened to me today, and we were putting together a reel for our supply page, and then I was like sharing it, and then it crashed, and then everything was lost.
And I'm joking. 2 hours. I procrastinate like so much when I'm doing them, like because I'm like, oh, maybe this bit, maybe that bit, or like it's just hard to know what people really want to see, and so I just try and get the basics down. But did you manage to do it in the end though?
And what does tattoo means to you today?
Yes.
Yeah, this is hard.
But it's my passion, it's my life, I guess, so it means a hell of a lot. But I think it's a really hard question to answer, because you could go down so many different avenues with it. But for me, I think it is my life. I don't really know where I would be without it. It's got to sound cringy, but it's true. It's one of them where, like, when you care about something so much and it is your everything, it's hard to imagine like a life without it. But you definitely have like falling like everything, like you fall into patterns of sometimes like falling out with it and then falling back in love. But I think that's healthy. I think that's what kind of where progression comes from, and development and all those things. You kind of have to have that relationship with something that you love, I guess. I mean, it's sad to see how it's going in certain areas like tattooing, in regards to like anyone and everyone can tattoo now, you know, like without really having or wanting to learn about the history and all those things. So that disheartens me a lot. But then I get to work alongside people every day that absolutely love it, you know, and for the same reasons that I do. So yeah.
Yes.
It's amazing every time to hear about the thoughts of everyone that say, what does tattoo mean to you?
Yeah.
So it's amazing to see the different answers, and but every time is the same point, like it's my life.
Yes.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's like you cannot really, I mean, disconnect.
Everything surrounds it, which is like either well, it's healthy in a lot of ways, but maybe not so in others. But I think fundamentally, like, I think if you always have that love for something, like that's what's important, you know. I think if it ever went away, then it would be time to walk away from it, but it's definitely still there. And there's still so much that I want to learn, and so much, there's just still so much there that I want to progress in and all those things and get better, tattoo and artistically, you know. And to about tattooing, it's history. I'm not going to sit here and say that I know everything, obviously, but yeah, there is still a lot out there.
Yeah. And I mean, regarding also this in a way, do you have any related to tattoo plans for your future, for your, I don't know, anything that can be sorry, didn't get. You
mean like a shop or something? Or like
convention travels, or
always making plans, always wanting to sort of try new things, new places for conventions, especially. Like I do love doing conventions in the UK, but I think over the last 2 years I've tried to prioritize like getting abroad and like broadening the horizons in that respect, just so that I can meet more people and develop in personal and in tattooing ways. But yeah, in regards to my trip with Anna in a few weeks, that's going to be big, I think, in like feeding my inspiration. And I really think there's going to be a reset in that respect, and I'll maybe come home and not change my work, but there'll be like a different vibe. And I'm going to India, so
yes, totally. So
stuff like, sorry,
no.
I think want to do more guest spots again in the UK and get around a bit, just because I feel like I've neglected some friends and things in the last couple of years, just going to other countries. So it'd be nice to catch up with people and get back to them. So yeah, but I think when it comes to like shop, if I was to ever own a shop or anything, I'm not sure where it'll be, but I always said that I would have my own place with like a friend or something, but kind of undecided on that at the minute. Figure that. Got my travel out the way.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think that's all.
Yes.
And we would like to thank you so much for this chat
and for taking the time to talk with us. And we really would like to thank also the guys that were participating, and Anna for all the hearts. And yeah, I would like to ask you if you could stay a little bit in the Zoom conference, and then we can close the live. So thank you, everyone, and see you in a couple of days. I think
in 2 days.
In 2 days we have another guest. So thank you very much, and see you in a bit.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.